love music and you love the Finger Lakes, you've come to the right spot. I'm Janelle Bradshaw. I'm here in the studio at fingerlakes1.com with producer Paul Russo and myself. I'm Janelle Bradshaw. Did I say that already? And you know who. This is who, our mascot. We're here to talk to you about the Finger Lakes music scene coming up for the week of June 8th through June 14th. Well, Finger Lakes is a music hotspot, and if you're like most people, you spend a lot of time looking around to see who's playing where and who's playing where and who's playing what and who's who and where's where. But I've helped you out with that because FLXmusic247.com is a searchable online calendar that lists a whole bunch of music in the Finger Lakes so that you don't have to worry about it. Have you ever had this conversation with a friend? Let's try it. Who? You want to go out this weekend? Yeah, sure. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Who's playing somewhere? I don't know. Well, look it up. Did you find anything? No, I saw them. I don't want to see them again, or I'd like to try something new, or whatever. Well, just hop on over to the FLXmusic247.com calendar, and you can explore all the options. It's really fun. You can find a hot spot, find a hot shot, find a tried and true venue or musician, or even find something new. So let's get started. Before we get too far along, I'd like to welcome you to join us on Facebook and Instagram. So here we go. Hotspots in the Finger Lakes this coming week. I'd like to tell you that the Trumansburg community is offering Porchfest. If you've never attended a Porchfest, it's kind of like drinking a flight of wine. You know, you sit down with many varieties and you have a sip of that and a sip of this and you decide what you like. Well, in Trumansburg this coming weekend on Saturday the 10th, there are over 30 bands performing on local porches. It's so much fun. You just stroll around the beautiful town and the leaves are fully in bloom with the flowers and the sounds just wafting around. And Trumansburg is a very cute town that has lots of things to offer for food and drink. Finger Lakes finest. It'll be like sampling new bands that you might want to follow in the future. Check that out, Saturday noon to 5. In Penn Yan this week, a longly established Arts Festival will occur again this year on 3 stages, and there'll be music on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5. And check out some of these names. The Black Robin Classic Rock Band will play. John Bolger will check in with some Eastman School of Music jazz students. Claudia Hauser, a favorite area country singer, acoustic soloist, will be there. The Endy Brothers, 2 fabulous brothers that perform covers and favorites from throughout the eras. And to top it off on Sunday, Steve Grills and the Roadmasters, a great blues show, will be had in Penn Yan. Check that out all day. In Canandaigua, on the east side of Canandaigua Lake, East Side Grill and Pub, you know, it's interesting when the owners are musicians, you get a kind of a different collection of artists performing. So this week we'll hear from Bobby Henry on Thursday at 5:30. Bobby Henry is, as my friend Gonzo calls him, an encyclopedia of musical performance throughout the ages, folk, Americana, jazz. He plays it all. He's a pretty amazing player. Also on Saturday, Craig Snyder, another genius on the guitar, will be playing there at Eastside Grill at 5:30. Well, Zogabee Winery, a super beautiful place on the east side of Seneca Lake, has their Sunset Series that is on Thursday evenings from 6 to 9. And this week we welcome Joe Biz, an acoustic soloist. That's always a great spot to be. A place that you might not think about going, but I'd ask you to consider is Potter's Farm to Fork Restaurant. It's actually in Port Byron. And if you've ever driven through Port Byron, you might say to yourself, wow, doesn't look like there's much going on here. But believe it or not, there actually is. And Brian over there at Potter's has created a music series. They have music on Mondays and Saturdays. And this coming Monday, the 12th, they welcome Ben Wayne. Now, Ben Wayne combines the best of all worlds, a little bit of Southern rock soul, some SoCal swag, and some pop hooks to create a really wonderful set for you. And they have a new patio outdoors, so please stop in and give them some of your business. On Mondays, they have a Beets, Burgers, and Brews special. So they have a beer and burger special for you. So we welcome you to enjoy that restaurant. And this week also a hot spot will be Brewery Ardennes again. I'll be talking about them a lot because if you haven't figured it out, I'm a little bit of a jazz fanatic. And this week at Brewery Ardennes for the Jazz Happy Hour on Thursday at 5:30, David Kuykendall, a Seneca Falls native and guitar phenom, is joined by a classically trained vocalist, Kate Ferguson Schmidl, and they'll be playing jazz influenced tunes for you. They're just fantastic. They do a lot of improv, tasteful and enjoyable and innovative at the same time. Really great stuff. Check them out. So my next segment is the Hot Shots. Here's where I like to highlight some musicians that I think you'll want to hear. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't, but I've got a little bit of a roots rock, reggae, Zydeco flair to this week's promotion, but I'm always interested when these bands come through because they offer a little bit of a twist to the typical classic rock or Americana artists that we typically see in the area performing all over the place. But Amy Varquette is a singer-songwriter. She is actually a student. I think she's going to be a chiropractor, but she's a singer-songwriter, and she's written some new tunes that she'll be performing on Wolfie's Pontoon stage. You got it? Well, it's a pontoon boat that is now a landlubber and has been turned into a performing stage for the bands down at Wolfie's. They have sand and outdoor tables. You can boat in. They have their restaurant upstairs with dining on the deck as well. So you can be as close or as far away from the band as you want. But Amy's a great singer, and she provides some really nice entertainment while you're enjoying what Wolfie's has to offer. I'd also like to mention that Wolfie's has 3 other groups performing just this weekend. Steve McLean will be Saturday from 2 to 5. Phil LeBron will play from 6 to 9 on Saturday, and on Sunday, a really super fun duo will be Mr. Monkey. Patty Dillman is the lead singer there, and she's, I don't know, it's fun. She's outrageous, and they play classic rock and have a super fun time. So check out Wolfie's. A band that I love to promote is Qwister. Qwister is they call themselves this, not me. They call themselves Rust Belt Reggae. So I've heard them play a few times, and they do some really interesting mashups of popular tunes that put a little bit of reggae backbeat on it and mash it up all over the place. And it's really fun. It gets you up out of your chair and moving. They'll be playing at the Keuka Arts Festival on Saturday at 3 o'clock. While you're down around Keuka Lake, Point of the Bluffs is a concert venue these days. They put an incredible facility together for outdoor concerts. They now have a VIP pass as well if you check them out. But a band, if you haven't heard of them, they're favorites of mine from the 80s, Taj Mahal, is playing on Saturday at 3:30 with Los Lobos to open. And I'd also like to note that the Little River Band, a band you've probably heard of, is playing on Sunday, same time, 3:30. So get on over there. That's a beautiful place high up on the hill. They've been put in 2 giant screens, so if you're not close enough to the band to see them right up close, you can sit out in the open air and enjoy the environment and also see the bands on the screen. Pretty cool. A new artist to town who I've met personally, Nima Samimi, performs under the name Muhammad 7. He was a pretty popular original artist in Boston with his band, Muhammad 7 in the Spring. Well, he is now a Finger Lakes resident, and he's doing lots of great work here in the community. He's teaching a singer-songwriting class at the Seneca Falls Library, and he's gotten out to perform in a couple different venues. This week, you can find him at Big Alice Brewery on Sunday from 2 to 5, and you can count on him to provide a really nice blend of folk and Americana music, but all original. And he's just a wonderful human being, a beautiful smile, easy to talk with, and we're really happy that he made his way to Seneca Falls. His family lived in Seneca Falls for many years, and before he is able to join the family homestead. Anyway, Corey Comer is from Newark, and he's referred to as the Soulful Showman, and Corey's shows are delightful. This guy's all heart, and he reaches out and gets yours too. So he plays an eclectic mix of R&B hits and some beautiful ballads, and then some foot tapping, um, jazz influenced music. He creates his own loops and just puts on a fantastic show. All heart, got to see him. Laurentide, Penn Yan. So after the festival, if you need someplace dark and cold, I don't mean it like that. Dark and cold beer. That's what I meant. But Laurentide, their carriage house, is a beautiful setting for some music in Penn Yan after the festival. It's off the beaten trail, so if you sneak in there, you can enjoy also some food at the True Roots Cafe. And another band that hit my radar pretty hard is Curly Taylor and the Zydeco Trouble. They're going to play at Deep Dive in Ithaca on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Zydeco is so much fun. If you've never heard Zydeco music, check it out. Deep Dive is well, it says it all. Deep Dive, get it? It's a play on words if you're not getting it. It's not a dive exactly. It's a beautiful club right on the shores of the Keuka outlet in Ithaca. Find them. It'll be fun. It'll be on the calendar. You can get some directions. There are some tickets involved for that. All that information's on the site. So, tried and true. These are bands or venues where you can count on them to offer fantastic music each week. The Cool Club and the Lipsker Sisters, some of my great friends, are performing at a gorgeous place, Plum Point. It's out of the way. It's not on the path. You have to take 14 south on the west side of Seneca Lake to get down to Plum Point. It's about 25 to 35 minutes from Geneva, down 14. But the Cool Club and the Lipsker Sisters, their show is awesome every time. They're, well, are they old? Let me think. Who are they old? Well, if you're a musician, you never get old, I think. So the Cool Club are seasoned musicians, and the Lipker Sisters are young female artists. And Marilla, Grace, and Elizabeth get up on stage. They perform some hits from the past, like in the Andrews Sisters style, and then they blow through all the decades. And even now, Marilla has been writing some music for the band. So it's a great show. You gotta love it. They have they also offer a saxophone instrumentalist to really take it to another level. Fun, dancing, beautiful environment. Get down there. Wow, am I talking too much? Can you tell? Can you tell I'm excited about this? The music programming in the Finger Lakes is so remarkable. We'll talk about vacation in a few minutes. But anyway, let's go off to Phelps again. Phelps, New York, tiny little town, beautiful town, great place to stop as a destination or on your way through this weekend. Crafty Ales and Lagers, which is one of my favorite breweries, is having their 10th anniversary party, and they're offering music all day long. They have Spencer Savalas is playing at 1, and Sweet Tea and Johnny V at 3:30, and then their big party with the Endless Mountain Derelicts is at 6 o'clock. The Endless Mountain Derelicts is a country, southern rock, folk rock band. They write a lot of their own original tunes, and they're just a fun bunch of guys to hang around, and they'll get the party finished there at Crafty Ales. I'm sure by 6 o'clock, if you've been there all day, it's going to be a pretty great party. Miranda Cheese Barn here in Waterloo, New York, historically has had music on Sundays, and this concert on the screen behind me, the Dean's List, is a Sunday concert from 2 to 5. But keep in mind, they've added also Saturdays all summer long, so you can see great bands at the barn at Miranda. You can be in the sun or out of the sun, in the barn or out of the barn, and they have great offerings, beer and wine, and of course their world-famous cheese. They include food trucks. Sometimes the Rotary Club of Waterloo cooks for them, and so there's a great food offering as well. The Dean's List, the Blue Blazered Rockers, they're classic rock, modern rock favorites. Ask anyone. The Dean's List is a tried and true band. If you want to have some fun, get out and see them. And then back in Phelps again, the Waterside Wine Bar. A consistent year-round venue with great artists this week. They're going to welcome Dixie North on Saturday from 6:30. Dixie North is a duo that plays lots of great covers and takes requests. And if you can't make it on Saturday, You could probably get there on Friday when they're offering the Road Less Traveled, which is a folk and blues 3-part harmony group. So lots of great vocals with that band. Check them out. Next Chapter Brew Pub in Auburn is also a tried and true venue. They offer music each week, Friday and Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays. This week they're offering Petty Thieves, which is a Tom Petty tribute-like band. And on Friday and on Saturday, Louis Molina will play with Bob Bjorn and do some jazz classics. Louis is a fantastic vocalist, and they have a good time together. They're great performers. And then in the Commons down in Ithaca, their Thursday night series starts this week with Beat and Bone, which is also a reggae band. And London McDaniel is the leader of that band, dub reggae. He's a multi-genre instrumentalist, and he plays the bass and the guitar. And I have to say that a few of the Beat and Bones tunes might have a little bit of jazz influence in there. So they'll be down on the Commons at 6 o'clock, the Bernie Milton Pavilion on the Commons in Ithaca. And that'll be every Thursday night. Some really great bands. Those are all on the calendar. So if you need something to do on Thursday, it's a great drive now that it's light out, and you can, go enjoy what Ithaca has to offer. And then on to something new. I'm always on the lookout for something new, either a new place or a new artist that I'm interested in. So I just saw this week that Curly's in Auburn, a longstanding restaurant, if you're from the area, has recently reopened and added music. They're added music like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I just noted ESP Trio on Thursday, and local favorite Zerica acoustic solo is playing on Friday from 7:30 to 10:30. So that music goes a little bit later than some of the other venues in the area. I also noticed the lineup for Nick's Chop House in Canandaigua. They have a sky deck, which is up on the top of the downtown building, and it's covered this year. And so they're presenting artists regularly, but the dates seem a little random, so check out the schedule. This week they're going to offer Brian Lindsay and Lloyd Gala, and they're in quotes, pure Americana full of spunk and life. So that should be really fun. Their picture shows 2 guitar players just, doing what guitar players do, and they'll be blazing but acoustic guitar. So check out the Sky Deck and their music program for the summer. Also in Canandaigua, Fort Hill Performing Arts Center is a center that opened right as the pandemic began, so their start got a little delayed, but that's a refurbished school auditorium. It's gorgeous, and they have a full program there. And I'd like to note that this weekend on Saturday at 7:30, they're offering a Billy Joel tribute, and people of my generation, there's a lot of Billy Joel fans out there, so get on over to that. That's a ticketed event, and you'll find that link on the page. Well, on the east side of Cayuga Lake, down in the King Ferry area, is a winery I'm not sure you've heard of. It's there's some long-standing wineries over there like Trey Levin, but Brightleaf is a very beautiful winery that sits up on a knoll, and it just has an incredible sunset. You can see the lake from there, but they're offering Wednesday music. Patrick Young will be there Wednesday the 14th at 6 p.m. They also include food offerings there. It's a great winery, and they have everything everybody has to offer. They have some yard games, and there's room for kids to run around there at Brightleaf too, so check that place out. And then this is new, hot on my radar. Although you can catch a boat ride in most ports, north and south, for example, Stivers has a Wednesday sunset cruise, and they offer daily boat tours, and you can catch the, I don't know what it's called, Captain Bill down in Watkins Glen, and there's Canandaigua Lady. There's lots of places to catch a boat ride, but did you know you can get one on Cayuga Lake too? Well, Cruise Cayuga is a pretty interesting business. It's a .org, so it's an organization that offers educational programming and community programming, and they also have daily cruises. And this week I noticed they're having a sunset cruise on Sunday night at 7:30, and they're offering the Jug Django duo, which will be jazz influenced, and it should be a really great accompaniment to a beautiful evening on Cayuga Lake. I'm going to check out that and see if they're offering some more music to get those on the calendar. And I noticed this week also that Prison City North, which is a wonderful venue for live music, they have will have bigger bands throughout the summer on Saturday nights, but they're doing a special party called Clams, and that doesn't need an apostrophe, does it? Clams for a Cause? Clams for a Cause. I don't know. But anyway, it's a great fundraising event for the Central New York Alzheimer's Association. It's going to be from 12 to 6 at Prison City North in Auburn. The Bold Coast Lobster food truck will be there, providing clams and other seafood. There's also barbecue, and a couple of artists. Jim Scala will play from 12 to 2, and Caleb Lieber will play from 3 to 5. That should be a really fun event. They have got a gorgeous patio, outdoor patio, and it's really enjoyable, and not to mention, of course, the award-winning brews. I think I read an article that the owner of Prison City, Dawn's most recent release was a serious award winner in some category, but I'm always happy and proud to see our Finger Lakes venues. I call them venues because they offer music, but they're our Finger Lakes partners because they're in business to create products that everyone can enjoy, and I'm proud when they have a lot of success. So before I talk about upcoming events, and if you're still with me, it's time to talk about summer and vacation. So, I don't know. You look at the calendar, you've waited all year for great weather. You say, hey, family, what are we going to do? And you're like, oh, I don't know. I have this, I have that, I have that, I have this. Should we go on vacation? Should we stay here? Should we go there? And what I want to say is that you don't need to go anywhere in the summertime. If you want to go on vacation, go somewhere else in the off season, because the Finger Lakes is ready for you with our natural beauty and parks, with our free concerts in every town's park, with the historical elements in each of our small towns, with historical societies and museums, and even just a walk around town and reading the history signs. There's so much that a family can do if they put a little effort into planning. And I think that, if you go anywhere else in the country, I don't think it's going to be any better than what you have right here in your own backyard. And the over 5 million visitors to the Finger Lakes would probably tell you the same. So save some pennies, put them in your pocket, and take the kids out for an afternoon of music in a beautiful location to make some memories together. Put a Frisbee and a kickball in the bag and a couple of lawn chairs, and you're ready to go. So anyway, some upcoming events, that's my motto for the summer. Enjoy where you are. Upcoming events for the summer, Lincoln Hill Farms concerts, wow. Those are ticketed events on Fridays and Saturdays, but Sunday Fun Day is free, and they offer live music all day there in Canandaigua at Lincoln Hill Farms. Point of the Bluff concerts are also ticketed events, but the winery offers live music most Thursdays and Fridays. They have farmers markets out there. They have the tasting room. It's like an amusement park all in itself out there. I say out there because you got to look for it. It is out there, high on the hills on the west side of Keuka Lake. There's some other great venues up there too, so if you head to Point of the Bluffs, make sure you leave enough time to visit some others up there, like the Crooked Tusker, the Stew Ben Brewing, Azure Winery. What else is in the neighborhood? Barrel House 6. All those places are clustered right together, and most of them offer live music, so you can make your own little tour. Don't forget that also in the Finger Lakes area throughout the summer, we have local public theaters and art centers presenting all kinds of things. And some to note include Rev Theater in Auburn. We have the Bristol Valley Theater in Naples. We have Fort Hill Performing Arts Center in Canandaigua, the Auburn Public Theater in Auburn. I'll be performing this weekend with the Seneca Community Players at their Lafayette stage right in Waterloo. They're presenting Chicago, a musical, really great show, should be really fun. There's also a few other places in the immediate outlying areas like the Homer Performing Arts Center and the Geneseo Riviera. These are all larger places that offer a little bit bigger bands. Most have a ticket attached to them, but they're definitely worth it. And it could be that special event. And as far as talking about families and making memories, got to get those kids into some of these theaters and see some of these incredible acts. They're inspiring, and they can be life-altering when a kid sees something like that and they say, I want to do that. And it can start a new journey towards an interest, a hobby, or even a career. There's a ton of festivals in our area as well, all over the place, tucked away in the nooks and crannies of the Finger Lakes. There's a Facebook group called Upstate Festivals. It's a private group you can join. I recommend it if you're interested in attending festivals. Most of our area festivals offer a ticket for the weekend, and it includes camping. So it's just another place to take your family. They're family-friendly events. Yes, there's people there that are having a good time, but for the most part, it's a community of people enjoying the outdoors and music at the same time. The Grassroots Festival, well-known festival coming up later in July in Trumansburg. Someone sent me a few tickets to the Hemlock Festival. I wish I could go, but I just like to give them a shout out. That's this coming weekend. I wrote some notes about that. They're on the they're far west on Hemlock Lake, which is one of the smaller Finger Lakes out south of Rochester, and they have a weekend pass, and they're featuring our local favorite progressive rock band, St. Vith, at 5 p.m. on Saturday, and I saw they're offering a drum circle at 7 p.m. And can you imagine a festival full of people who come together in a drum circle? It's going to be a moving experience. I mean, if it's something that you have time to do, I suggest you go check it out, because, you know, to feel the power of the earth and the power of humanity combined together in the pulse of percussion, it's going to be great. I think you should go if you can. Also, I'd like to make note to one of my partners, New York State Music Magazine, which is an online magazine that promotes music throughout the state, and they've graciously put a link to Finger Lakes Music247.com on their site, and I just want to give them a shout out. They have articles and promotions and press releases for music throughout New York, so if you're heading farther east or west and you want to find out what's going on before you go, you could probably find a link to some events on New York State Music Magazine. And not up there, but my final comments are that the Geneva Music Festival continues this week on Thursday night with a Night of Soul at the Cracker Factory in Geneva at 7:30, and also the final concert will be held at Geneva on the Lake on Sunday. The Brothers Blue will play from 2 to 4. So if you haven't attended one of the Geneva Music Festival events, it's your last chance for this year. That organization works hard to present music that we don't always get to hear in the Finger Lakes. So that wraps up this week's session. This week's, what are you going to call it, Paul? This week's episode? This week's, wow, check out that music session. Anyway, join me on Facebook. Facebook's my preferred platform because it gives us a chance to reshare a lot of stuff that the venues are putting out. And wow, it's coming out hot and heavy these days. So I'll be resharing my customers' events and also other people's events. I have a new creative director on my Instagram account. If you've seen that, please join us. She has a big goal. We're looking to get to 1,000 followers this summer through her efforts. Emily is a music student at Belmont University in Nashville, and she's building a career in music management, so she's practicing her social media posts, and she's doing a great job. You also might see her out and about. She's been attending music events to just get the word out and get some of her promotional materials posted throughout the area. And of course, she'll have Who. This is my Who. She has her own Who now, so Who has a Who partner. And if you see Emily and Who out, make sure you say hi to them. Great young people. I look forward to the future and her career as she grows. And I think that's it. Well, last thing, if you need to connect with me, I'm still interested in partnering with venues to promote their live music events. If you go someplace and you see music and it's not on the calendar, please encourage them to get in touch with me. It's really easy, flxmusic247@gmail, and we can promote their music as well. The goal is to make a tool for local residents and tourists or visitors so that they can find your live music events quickly and easily, so you can spend less time scrolling and more time enjoying in the Finger Lakes. Well, you have a great week. I hope to see you out and about. I'll be in the pit in Chicago, not in Chicago, for the musical Chicago, in Waterloo at the Lafayette Theater right on Main Street. I'll be there Friday, Saturday at 8 o'clock, and Sunday at 2 p.m. So hope to see you out. Have a great week. Thanks.